Boost, when are you gonna get a job? Daddy made some bad financial decisions and needs help.
Guys, this is Jason and this is week 1. Our goals this week really are to prevent any additional damage to the property. The gutters are leaking, they were clogged.
Very clogged.
The roof might be leaking, we're not quite sure yet. But definitely there's water in the walls and the carpet. So our goals really this week are to pull the carpet that's wet, cut open any of the walls that are wet, so basically it can start airing itself out and drying out. The good news about this building is, since it's block and not actually stick construction, I don't think any of the water really affected the structure. Even the floors are poured concrete and they have wood floors over them. So I think the worst that could happen is superficially the wood floor would be bad. But the goal really is to do that. Next week, hopefully, we should be able to get the inspection and power turned on.
Well, here we are, going out on the roof, the gutters, and we can see why it's leaking water there. It's pooling, it's not draining. Well, there's a massive low spot here, as you see, and the water just isn't just pooling here. It's not leaving out the gutter, so we're gonna have to build this up. And here is exactly where it's leaking. It's really not an ideal situation, but I'll try to vacuum this out. I don't have anything else here. I mean, that looks better, but it's still pooling, so that's something I'm gonna have to take care of. So that's quite a bit of water that was still trapped here. I mean, there's a little bit left, but it's probably okay, but still a decent amount.
These were all cleaned out, and you can see a repair patch here in white. This was done in silicone. It was pulling water, but I don't think it was leaking. Here are the front gutters. So there's also a bunch of coax cable running through the top here, which is kind of poorly placed. Someone just ran TV coax cable literally through the roof and just drilled holes into every bedroom. At this moment in time, I'm just wondering who in the right mind runs all this coax cable and tucks it under this slate, and now I have to get rid of it. These gutters are actually cleaned a little bit ago, but I guess there was some more buildup. So I'm just tossing this down to the sidewalk so I can clean that up later. Make sure all the drains are clear. You can see towards the end here, I'm actually distracted by a dog running. You can actually see the dog there in the center shot. It took me a second to realize it and had to do a double take. Here I've made my way to inspect the other roof, where I've used my 2-ladder technique. You could see my little scooper there. And upon coming up here, everything looks okay for the most part.
So I have sketchily made it on top of this roof. Don't ask me how. There's moss on this side. The outside looks kind of, needs love. The whole floor is crispy from this membrane of organic material, I'm assuming. The only drain I see on that roof is right there. So I don't know if that's the entire drain. So you can see my ladder over there. Well, hopefully I don't fall off. It is a nice view. So that's nice, but all of this, I don't know what this crispy stuff is. If someone else knows, I think it's just organic matter. Look at it, it's like a skin. So I'll probably just rake all this stuff off and throw it off the roof, but we'll see. I guess they have a pipe they clamp shut. That's, I think, the only drain. And then I don't know what these vacuum extractors go to, because I've never seen anything on the inside. This is weird. And this pipe looks like it has coax cable inside of it. So I don't know what that is. But the roof seems like it's in okay condition. I will probably recoat this just to be safe, because look at this. Also, it's soft in areas. So I don't know if that's, I think that just might be, well, that actually definitely shouldn't be soft. Oof. I think they tried to reflash this multiple times and not soft. Yeah, I'll probably have to clean this all up and then resurface it. So I'll get to that.
So we're unable to inspect the main roof. It doesn't seem like it's leaking because we don't see any water infiltration on the 3rd floor. We still need to repair the ladder going to it, but that should be done in a future video. Here is just the time lapse of us cleaning up the loose debris off the walls, and we ended up putting all of this in this pail, this trash can, which ended up being over 200 pounds, which was very, very difficult to move. So we decided in the future we'd put them in smaller bags and move them out separately. This bag had to get separated up. But after removing all the loose debris, our goal really is to just allow the walls to breathe, so any excess moisture trapped in the wall can permeate through this and come out. So these walls are actually made out of plaster and a black mortar underneath, I guess, for the time period. Switching to the GoPro cam, I'm just coming back in here to clean up the rest of the debris. I sound like Darth Vader because I realize I probably should have had my respirator on, and that's just me breathing through my respirator. This is the next room. This one actually doesn't look bad, but later on I rip up the carpet and realize it's a lot worse. Oh yeah, look at how crusty that is. It's coming right off. It's like cake batter. This is more or less what the wall looked like after I scraped most of it off, but I started realizing the carpet is really wet, so I need to pull this, so I went to go grab my hammer. And here it is, just coming right off the ground. It is soaking wet. Surprisingly, the wood is still kind of solid, as you'll see after I knock on it. At this point I realized I left my razor blade downstairs. I went downstairs and realized I did not bring it today, and I was absolutely determined to get this carpet out. As you see, I was like, it's stuck in the door, so maybe I'll just yank on it real hard, which surprisingly did work. Kind of spare you some of the boring details. Here's after I pulled it out. The next day I got my razor blade and prepared to cut this portion out and just throw it out on the driveway through the window. This was still extremely wet, so it was very, very heavy. The floor did dry out a little bit after this was lifted up because this is holding in a lot of moisture.
Hey guys, so every day I come into this place, the first thing I do is I check the humidity in the walls. So we're gonna do that right now.
So every day I check the humidity in the walls to compare it to previous days to measure how fast the wall is drying or if it's still getting wet. These are actually great comparative tools. I think everyone should have one. And that's a wrap for week 1. Any of the tools I used will be linked in the description. Any questions, feel free to like and comment, and I will see you guys all next week.